Hi, my name's Ellie. I'm on the YMCA Super Skippers. This is my seventh year jumping.
Hi, my name's Kayla. I'm 17. I'm on the YMCA Super Skippers. I've been jumping for 9 years.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm on the Super Skippers and I've been jumping for around 11 years, I think.
So what about jump rope qualifies it as a hard thing in your mind?
It qualifies as a hard thing, but also it's like so amazing because there's so many different ways you can do jump rope. So it really engages your mind and engages creativity, and creativity takes a long time to build up. So I feel like jump rope's classified as a hard thing because of how much you have to think about it and think about things you need to do in order to get a certain trick. So it just really engages your brain.
When I think about jump rope and what makes it a hard thing, it's just like the crucial importance of like teamwork and collaboration within the sport. And I think for all sports, teamwork is really important, but like specifically within jump rope, like on one competition day, I could work with like a dozen jumpers. Just as Kayla mentioned, there's like so many events and so many tricks. And I feel like learning to work with that many people is something obviously really unique and amazing, but it's also really tough. And I think for me, especially joining the sport at such a young age, like Kayla and Lauren, like it took me a long time to even realize, number one, the importance of teamwork, but also how to even be a good teammate. And I feel like I'm still learning how to be a good teammate, like every practice. And for me, it's like the continual learning process is great, but also does make it a hard thing.
Jump rope, it's kind of like it's going to continue and just continue to get like harder. I feel like there's no end to like how creative people can be and how like strong everyone's getting. So like, I mean, honestly, it's just kind of crazy. And like with the judges systems and stuff, like those are changing. And like, so people have to put their routines to the way the judging systems are.
You have to constantly adapt and be ready to level up.
Always changing.
Yeah. So what do you guys consider to be the most difficult thing that you've ever done, and how have you grown from it?
I think one of my most difficult things was like pulling myself out of a really like horrible mindset and then having to perform well after that. So at Grand Worlds in Norway, while performing pairs, I did like one of the worst run throughs I could have possibly done. I remember like crying on the live stream. It wasn't my greatest moment, but I knew like in a few moments I had to compete wheel. And I knew within myself, like I had to get out of this like rut of like sadness and just like a really horrible mindset I was in at the time. Fortunately, we did do very well, but I think just having to put such a difficult routine in the past and like a mindset of like, Ellie, that was such a waste of a year, like that was such a waste of time. Even if that routine was like a few minutes ago, was super difficult because I had to just like clear my past, clear my memories. But I think I grew from it because I realized that like an award or a run through really in the scheme of things isn't a big deal. And like that's not even the best part of jump rope. It's like the memories you make and the friends you make. And so I definitely think that's helped me realize like the bigger importance of jump rope.
My very first time being a mentor, I started teaching kids when I was really young, probably at like age 12. So I was still developing as a jumper myself. So going into that first practice, having an 8-year-old with me, it was very difficult for me to learn how to teach while I was still learning how to be a jumper myself. But I am very glad that I started when I was young, because I think that's helped me be the teacher that I am today. And it's amazing watching someone else grow while you're growing yourself.
That's a very challenging thing to do, to learn the skill of coaching while also learning your tactical skills as well. Lauren, what are your thoughts?
I went out to do my singles and I didn't know like any like scoring or like what misses were worth or anything. Like I knew nothing, which is kind of surprising because, you know, my mom's a judge, but didn't really acknowledge any of that. But I went out and I started my routine and I dropped both my handles and I thought it was over. I thought it was the end of the world. I cried out there, which is like, I stumbled through the rest of my routine. It was so bad. People like Camille and all my sisters were watching and they just had to turn away because it was like really embarrassing. It was just a horrible moment. But like, it was just kind of like, I had to learn after that it wasn't the end of the world. And it was misses are fine. You can get back up after missing ones. And now I know that misses and handle drops are leveled the same. They're not, they're fine. Because like, if you see a handle drop, I always feel like they look like way worse. You know, if someone handle drops, you're like, oh, that was a big miss, but it's literally just the same.
That is psychologically very challenging to begin your routine with probably the worst miss as a jumper, like the way it feels, right? You've lost all control of that routine at that point. For the rest of the competition, were you just kind of like out and you were just really bummed, or were you able to move past it?
I really was.
Yeah.
No, I was totally out.
That's a bummer. So it took you like a whole like year or whole season to kind of recover and be ready for the next competition.
Yeah, it was just like, because after that was like the last competition, and then we had the, all the practices, all the getting back together. But then after that, it was fine. It was good.
So what flaws have you needed to get over to get to the point where you are today?
As a little kid, jump rope seemed like a me sport. And jump rope is not a me sport at all. It is a we sport. You need to rely on your teammates. You need to collaborate with your teammates. And you need to use everyone's strengths to make the routine the best it can possibly be. It is not, I can do this, put it in there. It's how can we work as a group? What can we do together to make this amazing? That's a flaw that almost like everyone has to go through. And I think it honestly helps you with life, like going through it with a team, like figuring that out is something that you need to learn when you're younger. And I'm happy I had a sport that was able to teach me that.
So this is kind of relating to what Kayla said, but especially when I was younger and even still a bit now, I feel like constant comparison, like within the sport, was definitely something I struggled with. Like, I remember when I was younger, like that one board when you do speed, I would like stare at that while I jump speed, like compare myself. I was like, am I going faster than the person in the block next to me? And I just feel like that was such a horrible mindset to have, because it wasn't focusing on my personal growth, but rather my growth compared to my competitors. And even when I grew older, I realized that I was comparing myself to like my teammates. And so I guess kind of like Kayla said, it was kind of like a me sport. Let's say I was doing 4%. I was like, can I jump speed faster than my teammate in speed relay, or can I turn better? And I feel like just the comparison within my own group mate, that was definitely a flaw that I struggled with. And I feel like sometimes I still struggle with today. But after quarantine, especially without competitions and like all the number aspect of it, I guess, I realized that like jump rope is about growth, but the pace of it and doesn't matter. And like, you should not compare yourself to others. And as long as I continue to push myself, whether that's just like learning tricks or having fun, I know it's made like a huge impact on me as a jumper. And it's allowed me to like focus on the now instead of like comparing myself.
So what habit do you practice that has had a really positive impact on your life?
Every single time before we go, Ellie asks me to push all my beads to her side, because she has to have the perfect amount of beads on her side in order to like function during our run through, I guess. So that's something we do before we even start practicing. So I guess that's a habit that we do.
Is that a tactical habit? Is that more like a superstition?
I don't know. That's
a little bit of both.
I could talk about like the grand scheme. I guess ever since I was young, I was kind of like a planning freak. And so like before you run through, I'm also always like, make sure to jump high on this part, a cross bigger on this part. And I feel like running through the routine for me, I don't know if it helps them. For me, it helps me like visualize what I need to do to like make the routine the best we can. But again, I don't know if that helps them, but it definitely keeps me comforted, my mind up.
I mean, constantly like not giving up, like just like keep trying, like whenever we're in like the groups or anything, and we'll always have like the craziest ideas. And sometimes like Ellie will look at me and she's like, I have a really crazy idea. And I'm like, what? And then she'll go, I can't even say it because like that's just too. But I'm like, go for it. Because like, I mean, like if we don't even try, we literally won't know. But like, even if it is something crazy, just like build off of it. Like you can always come up with something new.
So how have you equipped someone mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and how have they taken that equipment and used it to overcome a boundary in their life?
I am a camp counselor for sports camp. The YMCA Super Skippers do a sports camp. And I feel like I have to, because I'm a camp counselor, I'm responsible for so many kids. And constantly we have to equip these kids with skills such as like, because they're just starting, we have to teach them how to do a single bounce. So they're starting new. So we have to equip them with ways to not give up when things get hard, because maybe they can't even get 3 jumps in a row. And we have to equip with them with everyday life skills of never giving up and building up their confidence and stuff like that. So it's not just building up their jump rope skills. We have to also teach them to never give up and build up their confidence in order to like keep going. And I think that helps them with their everyday life as well, not just jump rope.
Honestly, I feel like also as a camp counselor myself, I can definitely like relate to those ideas. And I think all 3 of us are like, we're like mentors at some point on YMCA Super Skippers. So basically we help the new jumpers and kind of help them adjust. And so I guess on the surface level, our goal is just to help them like check off levels and learn new tricks. But I feel like underneath it all, like as Kayla mentioned, like learning them really how to be like resilient in life and to not give up when a routine or a run through doesn't go their way. And also, I feel like a lot of parents do send their kids into like camp just to be like physically active. But I think we're able to show them like physically active doesn't mean like forcing yourself to move, but it also means like the joy and happiness that comes out of exercise, whether that's like running or jump rope. And I feel like that's also a lesson that's super powerful to learn. It's just the power of health. And so, yeah, like these are all lessons I've learned from jump rope. So I'm really glad that I've been able to like equip them within like camp and as a mentor.